Hurt.
Healing of memories. Okay, what do you call that? Healing. No, today's talk is on hurt. Okay? Is there anybody here in the crowd who can tell me I have not been hurt? Is there anybody? Lot of silence. I'm eating with the sound of silence. So, everybody has been hurt? Yes. I don't know why you are sitting so far. All of you sitting right at the back, please come up in front. So, everybody has been hurt. You know, brothers and sisters, everybody has been hurt at some point in their lives. And you know, today we are not going to talk about physical hurt. We are going to talk about emotional hurt. You know, all of us know how to deal with physical hurt. But most often, emotional hurt goes on the back burner. What do you do, brothers and sisters? What is your name? Lens Barreto. If you had a hurt or a lens, what would you do? Say you had a hurt on your hand, what would you do? Say it was a bad hurt, what would you do? She says you would put ice, she would put ice. Is that all? Anything else?
Go to the doctor.
Bandage. Okay? Is that all? Go to the doctor. Okay. What would the doctor do? He would take an X-ray. He would not take an X-ray. You don't have an orthopedic. If your bones are broken, then an X-ray. If you have a bone, he's not going to take an X-ray. What will he do? What's the ointment? Is that all? Painkiller. What would the doctor do? First of all, if your wound was bad, he would clean your wound, right? Is that all? With Dettol. Okay. Would you clean your wound?
You put medicine, apply ointments.
Okay, you would apply ointment and then bandage it and then antiseptic injection? No, it's not an antiseptic injection. He would apply antiseptic, which is a liquid, and he will give you antibiotics. Why would he give you? So what are you doing if you have a wound? You are taking external medicine and you are taking internal medicine. Am I right or wrong? So you would say that your wound is badly affected. So you're taking internal medicine and external medicine. Yes, right or wrong? At the back? Do you agree? You're taking internal and external medicine. Would it go in one day? So you would have to keep revisiting your doctor? Yes. So what about your emotional wounds? What are you doing? Which doctor are you going to? Jesus? Are you healed? Brothers and sisters, you have gone to Jesus. Are you healed? How many of you can tell me here that you have been healed? Wow.
It's a continuous process.
Exactly, brothers and sisters. So everyone has been hurt at some point in their life. We know how to tend to physical wounds, but most often emotional wounds get unattended. But what does Jesus say? Do you think that Jesus talks about hurt in the Bible? Who say yes? Does Jesus talk about hurt in the Bible? See or don't know. Jesus talks about hurt in Luke chapter 17:1. where he tells his disciples that it is impossible that no offense comes. So offense is bound to come. Now, where does offense come from? Can anybody tell me where does offense come from? What is this?
From friends, from relatives.
From relatives.
Friends.
Be specific. Where does offense come from? Can anybody tell me?
When your ego is hurt.
When your ego is hurt? No. No. Brothers and sisters, all offense comes from the enemy. Did you know that? What does the enemy do? He comes to steal, he comes to plunder, he comes to kill, and he comes to destroy you. So what does he do? What's your name? Vincent. Suppose Vincent is angry with his sister. Okay? The devil will put thoughts in his head to say something very hurtful to the sister. And do you think she will react or respond?
React.
She will react. And that is the devil's strategy. He puts thoughts into other people's head. So what comes primarily from the enemy, which is Satan. Okay? Now, how do we get emotionally hurt? No, one more thing. Ephesians 6 says, the enemy uses people to hurt and offend one another. It's there in your scripture, Ephesians 6. The enemy uses people to hurt and offend one another. Hence, we do not wrestle with flesh and blood, but with the powers of darkness. And it is the enemy who uses people to offend us. So have you got this point loud and clear? Yes. Now, how I made it, this is a psycho-spiritual talk. I have mixed psychology and spirituality, and I've given you the talk so that, all age groups can relate to what I am saying. Now, how do we get emotionally hurt? Come on, brothers, you gave one of the causes. How do we get emotionally hurt? Yes? You don't know how you get emotionally hurt? Words. Okay? Spoken words. Anything else? Yes, you're right.
Anger.
Anger is a negative response to feelings of hurt. Okay, so that comes after hurt. It is not only when you are hurt that the automatic negative response to that feeling of hurt is anger. Okay, so anger is not hurt but a response to hurt. Okay, so coming back, how do you get emotionally hurt? You said words, what else? Action, okay, what else?
Right.
I can't hear you.
Right.
What did you say?
Right.
Pride. No, not pride.
Humiliation? Abuse?
No. Okay, I will tell you. You get hurt through people, through individuals. Okay? Then you get hurt through circumstances. And finally, you get hurt, you can hurt yourself by unrealistic expectations of oneself can hurt you. Now I'm going to explain each one of what I've talked about. We get hurt through people. Do you agree?
Yes.
How? Through words, through gestures, through betrayal, through rejection, okay, and through action, lewd, disgusting action. Are you familiar with it? So that's how you get hurt, through people. Brothers and sisters, I talked about circumstances. How do you get hurt through circumstances? Brother, what is your name? Baptist. Baptist, can you tell me, how do you get hurt through circumstances? Can you cite an example? Okay, he can't cite. Sister, can you cite an example of how you can get hurt through circumstances?
Family situations.
Situations. What? Be specific.
Family situations.
Family situations. Okay, give me something wider of circumstances.
When you don't get the brain of what
No. That is not a circumstance. No, that is attention.
Sometimes when your circumstances are hard, people
That is, sister, that is individuals. Okay? I'm talking about circumstances. So bigger, something bigger. Okay, since you're all giving me, you're attending, but you're not giving me the right answer.
Financial losses of financial losses.
Yeah, financial losses are also personal. It is individual. It is not on a bigger sphere. Suppose, have you heard of the Turkey earthquake?
Natural calamities.
What happened? People lost not just their houses, people lost everything. You understand? In a flash of an eye, you can lose everything. So that is what I mean by circumstances. What if you lost through a tsunami or any natural calamity? What about the COVID? COVID. Sister, you need to stand up and shout. That's why I told you to come and shout. Okay, never mind. COVID. So many people lost their lives, right? Would you praise God? Or would you be angry with God? Confused. Okay? You know that you have to praise God in all circumstances, but it is so hard, right? So now have you understood point number 2? Circumstances when there is a natural calamity, but it can also be a man-made atrocity. Sometimes people murder, it is mass murder and stuff like that. Like COVID was like a mass murder kind of a thing. You understand? It is a global thing. So that is called circumstances where you cannot do a thing and you just lose somebody. Now the third one is when you have great expectations of yourself and it doesn't happen. You know, when counseling, I had this young boy. I said, son, what would you like to become when you grow up? So he says, Auntie, I would like to be the Pope. You're laughing, but it is true. Another one told me, I would like to be, the Prime Minister. I think I can do much better than Modi. Well, praise the Lord for that. So sometimes, if you don't become the Prime Minister, then what? You see, unrealistic expectations of oneself can leave you hurt. You may want to be like Ronaldo, you may want to be the greatest footballer, but you cannot achieve your dream. You have to have the wherewithal to do that. So these things can hurt you. Now, in some cases, wounds are very deep, like those who have been physically abused, verbally abused, and mentally abused. Then these are very deep wounds. And hurt coming from broken relationships can cause sickness and even premature death. Why do I say that? Do you know how badly youngsters take it when their girlfriends dump them or vice versa? I recently had a case where a 14-year-old boy dumped by a girlfriend jumped from the 23rd floor down and died on the spot. So you see, it depends on each individual. You're wounded, but how you respond to those wounds. Now, which are the areas, brothers and sisters, that are affected by emotional wounds? Which you think? What do you think? No. Pride, rejection are not areas in your life. Huh? Not pride.
Your mind.
No. Which is the areas in your life, in your body? Your soul, your mind, your memory, your personality, and ultimately if you don't take care of emotional wounds, it will ultimately affect your character. So do you think that it is necessary? Why? Okay, I'll ask you the next question. Why do we need healing for our emotional wounds? Do you think you need healing in the first place? Yes. Do you all agree that we need healing for emotional wounds? Yes. Now, can I ask you why?
To free ourselves from the burden
No. Do you know? Wounded people wound others, hurt people hurt others. Okay. Suppose this is a vase, okay? And you are that vase. All of us are damaged good. All of us are hurt. Are we functional or are we dysfunctional? I'm talking about emotionally. When we are hurt, are we functional or dysfunctional? Dysfunctional. But we force ourselves to be functional. Now, I'm going to explain something to you. What is this? Your mind. Okay? And this is your body. This part of you is 10%. Do you know that? And the rest of you is 90%. Okay? So when you are supine, that is when you are sleeping in the night, this is the conscious level. When I point out to this is the conscious level. And the rest of you is the unconscious, subconscious, and semi-conscious level. Now when you sleep at night, what happens? Your conscious has gone to sleep. So your subconscious, semi-conscious comes to the surface. Okay? Now, how do people respond? See, I want you to listen carefully to this. How do people respond to emotional hurt? How? All of us have been hurt. So what is your response to emotional hurt? You cry. Okay? Now, cry is a physical manifestation of your hurt. But how do you respond? Now I dug and I searched and I came up with 3 categories of people. Now I'm going to teach you to recognize those 3 categories. Number 1. What's your name, sister in the pink? Fiona. Just suppose Fiona is hurt. Okay? Now Fiona is badly hurt, but she doesn't want her sister to know. She doesn't want the prayer room to know. She doesn't want her office people to know that she is hurt. So what do you think she does? She goes to office with a smile on her face, smiling from ear to ear, miles of smiles. so that nobody knows she is actually hurting. So what is she actually doing, brothers and sisters? Is she addressing the issue? No, she suppresses the issue. So she pushes the hurt because she's supposed to carry on. So she doesn't address the hurt. So she pushes it into the far recesses of her mind and into her subconscious. Now, when she goes to sleep at night, do you think that she's going to sleep like a baby? No. Do you all agree? So what happens? Can you tell me what happens? Thoughts will come up, but what happens? Huh? Yeah, you become bitter, yeah, you're harboring it. But do you know, when these thoughts rise up, you have nightmares. Because your subconscious is arising to your conscious level and you cannot deal with it. You may get up and sit down and say, oh, it's a dream. But do you know, it can be a recurring dream? And until such time you address that emotional pain, it will keep on coming up and haunting you till such time as you get nightmares and you get panic attacks. You got it? Emotional hurt unaddressed has an effect on your physical body. If you had a wound on your hand, you would go to the doctor, but when you are having emotional wounds, all of us do not know how to deal with it. You are saying you are going to Jesus. Yes, you are going to Jesus, but how are you addressing it? How? See, you all don't know. Okay, never mind. What about category 2? Now, sister in the orange, what is your name? Kathy. If you were hurt, just say Kathy was hurt. And Kathy has been badly hurt by the sister sitting at the side of her. Now she does not know how to deal with it. So our sister has said something to her and she goes back home and she says, what did she say? How did she say if I had said something to her or if I had behaved in another manner, would the situation have changed? And then she cannot give up that hurt. She keeps on thinking about it and it plays on her like a broken record. So much so, when she sleeps at night, 1 year down the line, 10 years down the line, she will remember what earrings that sister wore, what shoes she wore, and what dress she wore. That is the extent of how hurt can cripple you. So, when you keep on revisiting the site of that hurt, and many of us do that, we go back and we think, why did she do it? Why was she so mean to me? I didn't do anything to hurt her. So when you revisit the site of your pain, what do you think happens? What do you think happens? You get a nervous breakdown. You see, at some point, brothers and sisters, your emotions reflect into your physical. And that is when it begins to affect your nerves when you go on looking at the site of your pain and you get a nervous breakdown. So this is